Jack Doherty's back, baby. Jesus Christ, I've been waiting for this day. So basically, in the past week, some extremely disturbing evidence has come out about Jack Doherty, and his ex-girlfriend actually went on a podcast exposing everything that he did to her while they were together. And guys, you may think you fully understand just how much of a piece of shit Jack Doherty is. I mean, I'm sure you've heard by now how he crashed his McLaren, or how he got robbed in broad daylight, but trust me here, things are about to get a whole lot worse. Real quick though, I noticed like 90% of you guys aren't subscribed, so if that's you, subscribe. Alright, back to the video. Oh, Jack Doherty, where do I even begin? I mean, the guy's an absolute dickhead. Like, he's certifiably one of the most disgusting human beings out there. But after listening to what his ex exposed about him on her podcast, holy shit, dude. Like, I genuinely couldn't believe my ears. She talked a lot about how he was super manipulative, how he got her addicted to various substances, and even brought up some allegations of SA. Like, this shit is actually fucked up, dude. It genuinely has me praying for the day Jack Doherty falls off the face of the earth, man. His little broccoli head ass just ruins my day anytime I see it. Anyways, the podcast is called McKinley's Story, hosted by Camilla Araujo. I don't know, however you say it. But yeah, you can go watch the full thing if you want. It's almost 2 hours long, but I just wanted to summarize and react to all the really fucked up stuff in this video here. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. So the first clip I want to look at revolves around this interaction McKinley had with Jack and this mysterious older dude that they were hanging out with. Apparently, Jack was pressuring her to do OF, but she didn't want to, and well, I'll just let her tell the story.
He ends up this one night taking me to dinner, and he was like, I want you to come with me. I'm meeting up with my business guy. I'm not saying his name. We end up going. It's a really nice dinner. It's with a bunch of other people I had never met before, but it was this older guy. Jack introduced me to him. We start talking a little bit, and he just brings up, so why don't you have an OnlyFans? This man, he's like in his 40s.
And you've never met him before?
Never had met him before. I was like, well, it kind of caught me off guard, especially like coming from an older man. I was just kind of like, that's the first thing you say to me is, why don't you have an OnlyFans? I was like, it's against my morals. That's all I said. I was like, it's just the way I was raised. Like, I that's something not in the cards for me. And I'm firm on that. And he said, fuck your morals.
Nah, bro, that's actually diabolical. To any guys that watch my videos, please don't fucking interact with women like this. It's honestly just disgusting. Like, can you imagine some random person you just met pressuring you to show yourself online when you've repeatedly said that you're not into that kind of stuff? It's just gross. Now, the weird thing about that interaction is apparently Jack had been supportive of McKinley's decision not to do OF. However, he was the one that brought her to this quote-unquote business meeting where the two of them met this weird-ass dude. It seems kind of obvious to me that Jack wanted to try and pressure McKinley into doing something she didn't want to do simply to make more money off of her. Hence why he probably told the guy to ask her that question. But hey, that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments.
I'll never forget this night. Michelle walked into the bathroom I was in. I was by myself. And she basically told me, listen, don't freak out, but Jack really wants you to start OnlyFans. And he said that there's no reason for you guys to be together if you're not helping. I broke down in tears. I was like, wow. Everything that he had said to me, like, oh, I know you're my wife because you don't have one, and getting me to go to dinner and try to get me on OnlyFans, but it didn't work. Now it's an ultimatum. He wanted me, when he realized he didn't have the control over me when it came to other people and like what they could say, he realized that he did need to create an ultimatum for me. And that was hard for me, and he knew that. He knew what I felt and how I felt about him and the whole situation. And
damn, bro. I swear, every sentence she says just makes Jack look like a bigger and bigger piece of shit, dude. Imagine telling someone you're only gonna date them if they start an OF. Like, genuinely, how insane is that? I feel like most people would want it the other way around. Like, personally, I would never want my girlfriend making an OnlyFans. So like, making that the sole condition for us to be together is actually insane to me.
I cried and I was like, let me talk to Jack. Like, I just need to talk to him. I was thinking, you know, if I go and talk to him and just say, you know, this is how I feel about this, like, he'll respect it again. And like, if he sends me home and doesn't want to be with me because of this, then like, I guess it is what it is. But I didn't want to lose that. And that was what I was like prioritizing. It wasn't what I could make on OnlyFans. I had no idea. I had no idea how much money you could make on OnlyFans. I just knew that I really liked this guy. But I remember walking into the room that he was in. He was alone also with one of his employees. And I walked in and they just start laughing because Jack had never brought up OnlyFans to me. So it was like,
because he made everyone else do it.
Very awkward. Yeah, he made everyone else do it. It's sad looking back on it because that was something I respected. I was like, I respect the fact that he cares about my beliefs and he understands that. After talking to him, I was explaining how this is not in the cards for me, Jack. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, my parents, like, I can't even imagine what they would think if I did this. And he was like, your parents are going to get over it. Like, they're going to realize how much money you're going to make. And I was like, am I though? Like, I had no idea. I was like, am I going to make money? I don't know. And they were like, you are going to be very well off. They were like, this is going to be the biggest success ever. And Jack was telling me, he was like, you're going to be, you know, my main girl. Like, we can post together. We can finally act like boyfriend and girlfriend. We can start doing things together. And like, it's not reasonable for you to be in my life if you're not involved in my life.
So yeah, man, looks like Jack never actually cared about McKinley. He was really just using her to make money. I mean, that's just so insanely manipulative. He's telling her all these nice things about how he's going to be there for her, how he values her beliefs and opinions. But then when she doesn't start doing OF for him and giving him a cut, he starts crashing out. What an actual sociopath.
And in my head, I was like, I'm not doing this. I'll have a conversation with him tomorrow and I'll just be like, listen, I've been thinking about it. I can't do it. Like, that's where my head was at. But I just literally, I wanted to stop the conversation. I was so uncomfortable. I had Michelle and his other employee and him just like telling me how successful it's gonna be. And you know, that was something that I didn't know for sure. I didn't know if like I would start it and then like, you know, my parents would never speak to me again. I was fully preparing myself for that. I woke up and that morning he had a contract in hand and he told me to sign it. I didn't even have the opportunity to talk to my parents about it or for any legal representation. He gave me the contract and he basically just said sign it. I read through it and I didn't like how it said, you know, he owns all of my social media accounts because again, I had a following. I had 500,000 followers on TikTok. I had over 100K on Instagram. That was something I had built for years. And that was something that I held very close to me. So I was like, I just want to make sure, like, in this contract, do you actually own all of my accounts, even the ones that I have? And then he was like, no, the contract means nothing. Like, we can change anything, but it's whatever. Just sign it. So I signed it, and then first words that came out of his mouth were, you're now Jack Doherty's girlfriend.
Nah, bro, having your girl sign a contract is actually insane. I'm not gonna lie though, this is the only part that got me thinking McKinley is low-key kind of an idiot. Like, rule number 1 of business is you never sign a contract that has anything you'd object to. So for her to just sign it without having a lawyer look at it, or at least talking with her parents, is honestly just a stupid move on her part. I mean, at that point, just leave that fucking goofball. She said she already had like 500K on TikTok, 100K on Instagram. That's plenty to start your own career and actually keep all the money you make. Also, I know I might be the biggest Jack Doherty hater of all time, but I also feel like we can't fully trust everything McKinley has to say. Like, it does kind of seem like she's trying to get some sympathy points or whatever, and I mean, I'm sure everything she's saying is true, but at the same time, it was her choice at the end of the day to actually hang out with this goofy ass kid. Now, the next piece of evidence McKinley brought up is how Jack Doherty seemed to put his content before her well-being, specifically mentioning this incident where he flipped a golf cart, crushing her underneath it. Once she made it to the hospital, instead of checking up on her to see how she was doing, Jack decided to whip out his camera and start filming instead.
He flipped an entire golf cart on top of me on purpose, and it was for a clip. I know that because he was trying his best to flip it, and you can see in the footage the only thing that he was looking for was the camera to see if they got it.
Oh fuck.
I was in so much pain. He thought it was not that big of a deal. I was like, Jack, I need to go to the hospital. I was crying. I couldn't even walk. My back was so bruised up and like my whole entire spine was just bruised. And my neck, it had hit my neck. It literally could have killed me. The way it fell on top of me, it fell on my side. The back of the cart went at the back of my neck and I crunched over and then it hit my back. He said that he thought it broke my neck. And I'm like, if you really thought that and you're like not worried about me, that's insane. When I'm on the way in the Uber and I'm sitting upright, I'm realizing like this is bad. Like I'm in pain. I definitely need to do something. And I walk into the house, everyone is there. They looked at me and were like, we need to go to the hospital. Like, we'll go with you. So they were kind enough and realized, you know, they watched it live and they were really pissed off at him for acting that way and, you know, not caring about my well-being and not making sure I was okay. And when I went, Jack had met me there and he had a camera. I was so embarrassed because I'm like, I'm in the hospital, you're filming all of these things. He was like, you're the baddest one in the hospital on video. And I was like, I'm just not in the mood for this.
Yeah, bro, that's actually crazy. But hey, she should have put something in the contract saying Jack needed to actually care about her. Like, that's just her fault, man. But moving on, this might be one of the worst things Jack ever did to McKinley, man. Like, genuinely. So basically what happened is Jack, McKinley, and their friends were all in a van heading somewhere, and once they got there, everyone except for McKinley got out to start filming. The thing is, once they all left, someone broke into the van with a gun, threatening McKinley's life and stealing some of the stuff in the car. And how did Jack react? Well, I'll let the clip speak for itself.
What'd they do? What the fuck got robbed? Wait, what'd he do?
I don't know.
Wait, did he take your stuff?
I think.
What the fuck?
No, I said first my bag is to give your fucking bag.
He took your purse?
I don't know.
McKinley, where?
Oh my God.
Where's the key? Where's the key? Okay.
But that was the most real trauma ever. Like, it was a noise that had never came out of me before. I was freaking out. Jack was, yelling at me. He was like, what happened? What happened? And I'm like shaking. I'm like, I can't even like explain what happened. I don't know. And it was obviously very, very traumatic for me. And I was like, please shut the cameras off. Like, I cannot, like, please take me off this camera. And he refused.
Live.
But I just started it.
Like, why?
Because this is like fucking great.
Everything's great content for you.
But
I
it
just
happened.
fucking died.
Well, you're alive. Let's share the story. Come on, I thought you agreed
Fuck
to.
you.
You're
for
gonna
thinking that's okay.
tomorrow though. You're gonna be so happy
But,
you recorded
like,
this. You know that.
Maybe record it, but going live again
'Cause it
right
gets
now,
clipped, you're gonna see it on TikTok.
Doesn't matter.
It
doesn't
does.
fucking matter.
I'm doing this.
For once, please. I'm asking, please.
If we record it, it makes it easier.
He refused to shut off the camera. He refused to stop his live stream. He was laughing about it, saying like, well, you're gonna wake up tomorrow and like you're gonna wake up to all these TikToks and like these viral clips. And I'm like, Jack, I don't care. I'm like, everything is content. Like, I don't know what isn't anymore. Like, even this, like, you can't just feel a little bit of empathy for me after going through that. And he continued his live stream. He didn't listen to me. And I was like, what more does it take for you to just respect me? And what happened to you? What happened to the guy that made me feel safe in the beginning? Like, this was horrible. And now you don't care. And I realized in that moment, I was like, this man doesn't fucking care about me.
Yeah, man, I mean, we all know at this point that Jack Doherty is so delusional and tapped into the clip farming scene that I don't think he can even tell what's real and what's not. The guy is actually just lost. There's absolutely no saving him whatsoever. And the worst part is he surrounds himself with people that are just as fucked up as he is. The last podcast clip I want to discuss with you guys involves McKinley, Jack, and one of Jack's friends that was staying with them. And yeah, let's just play the clip.
But within that first week, something horrible happened to me. He had a hometown friend there that he had known
Staying with you.
staying with
In the
us
house.
in the house.
Okay.
We end up going to bed, and I just remember waking up and his hand was in my pants. I was in the middle of him and Jack, and I just felt so violated and scared. I woke up freaking out. I pushed him away from me, and I'm like trying to tap Jack, and I'm like, Jack, and he's drunk as shit. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm pushing this guy off of me, and he doesn't care. I turned, he just is saying, I'm gonna fuck you right now. And I woke him up, and Jack woke up, and he was like, I was like, get him out of here. Like, I don't know what to do. And he's trying to hump me from the back while I'm talking to Jack, and Jack is awake. And Jack is like, bro, get out of here. Like, what are you doing? Go. And he was like, I don't give a fuck. I'm fucking her right now. I pulled Jack aside. I was like, I need to talk to you. And I was like, do you remember what happened last night? He was like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And I was like, he did that to me. Like, and I explained it in detail, and he was like, holy shit, I remember. He was like, oh my God, like, I'm so sorry. He was hugging me. I don't know what conversation they had with him, but from that day forward, I had never seen ever again. Like, Jack fully cut him off.
Okay, I can't believe I'm saying this, but Jack Doherty has actually gained just a smidge of respect from me. SA is genuinely nothing to joke about, so I'm glad Jack actually took McKinley's side and cut the dude off. However, it does speak a little bit to Jack's character to see who he was surrounding himself with at the time. To any guys out there watching my videos, pro tip, don't be like Jack or his friend in any capacity. Be a gentleman, buy your girl flowers every once in a while, walk closest to the road on the sidewalk, just be an actual decent person, bro. But yeah, that's about it. If you're new to my channel and you want to stay updated, make sure you go down and subscribe, like the video if you enjoyed, and yeah, moral of the story is Jack Doherty continues to be an absolute piece of shit.